Here is a Japanese import, arrived recently, and it's the quite rare WM-WE7. Now it's a little bit chunkier than some of the other Walkmans of the age, and that is probably because it has a transmitter built in. Well, transmitter and receiver in fact. So headphones were available, wireless ones, for this Walkman, and also there was a wireless remote control as well. I don't unfortunately have any of those, I just have the bare bones Walkman. But what I'm hoping to do is, if I get it working, I'm hoping to at least pick it up on the FM radio, but we shall see about that. So this is obviously way before Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Let's see what came with it then. It doesn't look like a cassette came with it. Battery. Now it doesn't have a caddy. Fortunately, I do have one off of another Walkman, so I should be okay. So it's got a battery, and it's looking a little bit suspect inside. So it's green. It's probably green down the other end as well. So it's probably not going to work on a battery. I could put that battery in charge, which I think I will. It's in reasonable condition. Got a bit of wear on the side. It's got this kind of nice, almost industrial finish to it. Sticker still in place there. Very small dent there, but other than that, it looks all right, doesn't it? Let's compare it to the WM-EX1. You can see it is a little bit bigger. So like I say, that's probably the wireless aspect. It's a tad wider as well, but not particularly big from today's standards. If I grab a modern Walkman of today, it's not really a Walkman of today, but yeah, that's a USB device. It's still looking smaller. They've almost fashioned that on a Sony, haven't they? With that green bit there, the trim going all the way around. I guess they've gone for making it retro. And that one there, and the one that I'm borrowing the battery holder from, just compare that, so that's smaller. Again, moving on, let's put some power on this, and that's that. Let's just check everything, the orientation of things. So when I saw this, I thought it was going to perhaps open out like the EX1, but it doesn't. It opens like this. That's the loading area. It's pretty tidy and clean inside. It looks to be a similar vintage to the EX1. So it's a 90s Walkman. It's got a volume, Dolby, hold and wireless off and on. So I would imagine having it on, may have used a little bit more juice. And there's a earphone socket there. And I suspect with that on as well, it probably stopped the sound coming to here, but we can test that a little later. It's got the mode here for playback. It's got blank skip off or on. I think that's what it is. And also whether or not you want to keep playing the tape. And then the controls are on the front. Almost looks like a spring in there. Oh, listen. So the controls are just in this band here. So got play, and auto forward, reverse and automatic music search as well. I guess that's just the style of it. Come on, that's the aerial. That's got to be the aerial. Right. So though there's no cassette in there, it's really trying to do something, isn't it? Maybe let's press play again and try to look. I can't see that side moving. Oh, I think it's going to have a cassette in there. So let's find one I'm not too committed to. Okay, let's set again on here, shall we? Well, it was sold as junk. At the moment it is behaving that way, isn't it? The positive thing is that it's actually whirling. Let's just see if I can hear any noise. I don't expect to hear any music, but that would signify that the amp section's okay. Yeah, so I heard a beep, so it could be a bout issue here, couldn't it, given the age. I'm just going to put it to wireless on, press play again, it still beeps. So maybe wireless off and on left the earphone intact. I guess if the wireless was only be used for the remote control, then you would want that on anyway, wouldn't you? The good thing here is all the controls look to be on the unit itself, so that's good. I think we need to dive into this and start taking it apart. Just take that off and find a small enough screwdriver. Screws, let's start here. Now it does feel like it's been taken apart. The screws are not in very tight, so someone's obviously had a look, which might not bode too well for me. So as you can see, there's a few screws. These should all in one position. Now, I was expecting a couple of things to possibly fall out of this. Because it's been taken apart before, looks to be missing a couple of things. The bout is weak, but good that it's not decayed. It's good that this bout has not gone to stickiness land. And look, that's had quite a lot of corrosion in there. You can see as well how it's kind of chased along here. It may have got damp. Probably best to try taking this top board. So this is the control board, and this is the aerial. There's another spring there. Maybe it's got more than one then. Interesting little device, isn't it? See any more? Oh, there's one there. It's got an arrow pointing to it. Okay. Sorry, there's another one there. All these springs are transmitters. They're aerials, aren't they? Doing it carefully because I don't know how it's held in here. There's nothing else really holding it in, is it? And then the bottom board I would expect to be the one that's possibly soldered in somewhat. On my shaky hands, very thin board. Just connects inside there. Might leave that in place. Don't think I necessarily have to get to that. Time to look for my bouts. Someone might have opened it up and thought, there's a bout there. Why is it not working? It should be working. They might have just thought it was good enough. But obviously if it's knackered, then a new bout is needed. I'm getting to that stage where I'm going to have to order some more bouts. Our friends at Web Spare Parts. No sponsorship at all. Just saying that they were quite good bouts to get hold of. A few useless ones in there, but good ones nevertheless. So let's just take this one out. So it's the same layout as we're seeing in a lot of these Walkmans. It's a single bout, and it does this kind of like that. Put it all the way around, and then it goes like that. Ooh, very springy. Very Jerry Springer. Good thing is, I should be able to work out which one's going to be the closest. That's going to be a little bit too big, too small. That one, possibly. Definitely need to order some bouts. So let's try this one. We should be using tweezers. Yeah, to help me a bit. What am I doing here? Managed to twist that around, haven't I? That looks good. I should really chase out this muck. So I'm going to do that now over a bin. Finally, I'm just going to use some alcohol, some strong stuff to tidy it up a little bit. Keep it away from the rubber. Lost a bit of one part of the metal there. Dead easy to reinstate something though. Should always keep hold of your old Walkmans, even the ones you can't repair, because potentially you can swap bits out, rebuild parts, like this battery compartment area. Possibly I could have borrowed from another Walkman, but as long as one side is okay, for now anyway, it's just a case of trying to get it to work. I suppose I could chase down and separate the boards, but at the moment I don't really know if it's going to work for me. Once it's assembled and tested, in theory, I could then do a deeper delve down, remove this board and give it a proper clean, so we don't want any of this stuff in into the board. Well, that's looking a bit cleaner. Obviously that's not very clean. Sometimes as well the contacts just need a bit of a scratch, or they need to be bent very slightly to apply the pressure, especially these gum sticks. One more. So that bout I've taken out is probably quite good as a reference bout, just to measure up. It's gone back to its right shape, but it could not hold any torque. Useless for that. So yeah, there's a bit of damage in there, but that's just part of the case. A little bit of black paint in there to tidy that up at some point. Get rid of any of the nasty bits. Fortunately, part of the cotton wool buds come off at this end. I just need to get all that off in a minute. Again, this is sort of away from anything of interest, isn't it, in here? So that should be okay. Right, let's just have another look at this and move things around a bit. Let's remove that fluff. So it's not looking, that side seems to be not too bad at all. Just a little bit kind of on top of it. I don't think it's going to get particularly worse. Just going to push this one through slightly, just a little bit more. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so let's get the little board on so we know where it went roughly. There's a point there it needs access to. Could there be a couple of transmitters going on here? One for audio, one for remote control. Okay, let's get these screws back in. I think it was up there, wasn't it? And then the last one. So just working in reverse, not auto reverse. All right, let's push this down to front. So we need to lock it this way. Let's open, cassette in, and we can look at this. for play. Ooh, wow, it's playing something. Let's see if it auto reverses, shall we? It's making a little bit of a noise. Okay, don't know if I stop that myself then by moving it. Let's just take this back off, just get the back on. Leave the screws for now. Work out how this goes. It goes like that, doesn't it? Okay, is it going to fall off again? I need to kind of go in like this anyway. Right. So ensuring that I keep this case on together. It's a bit of a noisy mechanism. Fast forward. Wind. Let's just try the audio side. And not to turn it down. No bass on this. That could be on the remote there, couldn't it? Well, it's playing. That's fine. Sounds good, both sides. I'm happy with that. I'm going to get these screws in. Get the screws in, and at that point I can start to... So small screws, they're not as bad as iPhone screws or smartphone screws. Make sure they go in a bit tighter. Do you find that you feel like you're all fingers and thumbs when you're picking these types of things apart? As I certainly do. One of the things I like about doing all this stuff as a hobby now is I really wanted to do electronics when I was at school. I went on and actually started a BTEC, and I just couldn't do the soldering with everyone around. I think the problem was in my family, my uncle, he used to sort of suffer from sort of shakiness in his hands and whatnot, and I just couldn't really ever contemplate doing it as a job. So I ended up being a software engineer for a number of years, and I've kind of kicked that into touch a bit now as well, although I do like dabbling, it must be said, but hobbies are always, well, they tend to be more fun than actual jobs, don't they? So that's that. Excellent. I'm going to go and get a radio. Not any old radio. I'm going to go and get the Steepletone radio and see if I can tune it in. Is that going to work? So this is a radio I did a video on, showed my ignorance of shortwave radio, the fact that it is still used a lot overseas, obviously not in the West particularly, but used in lots of places. So this is the radio, and it's got this aerial. Make some space. Turn it on. Is it plugged in? I think so. So 200 is what I was told. We're near that, aren't we? 175 on MB FM. So if I go to MB FM, press play, would have to put the battery in, turn it on to wireless, press play, it's on. Maybe the frequency it broadcasts on is not really allowed in the rest of the world outside of Japan. None of that's it. No, that's a shame. Couldn't find it. Now, there was some adjustments on that board, I noticed, so maybe the frequency can be adjusted. Would anyone be able to let me know? But in the meantime, I think I'm just going to take this out when I go out for a walk later and give it a proper test. It seems quite a robust mechanism. I think it's fairly similar to this one, isn't it? The EX1. My first impressions is that it's very loud, a lot louder than some of the other Walkmans from Sony that I've got. And it may be playing slightly faster than I'm used to. Not terribly fast, but it does seem to be playing slightly faster. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and please leave me lots more information, if you have it, in the comments section on this delightful looking Walkman. That would be fantastic. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.